First, you are supplied with features you never really asked for. Then you are told you have always wanted this. Your speech is being censored, limited, and controlled by the default unchangeable settings of the new updates that have recently been released. Many people who use some technological device are not too sure or even aware of the parties involved in creating it, running it, and updating it, which not only affects the user experience, but also affects users themselves. The maintainers of the Graphene OS operating system, in a post shared on X, reiterated that SafetyCore does not provide client-side scanning and is mainly designed to offer, quote, on-device machine learning models that can be used by other applications to classify content as being spam, scams, or malware. Now, certain words here, for those who may not be tech savvy, might be new, such as client-side scanning. Client-side scanning is just another very formal way of saying someone you don't want to know about what's going on your device knows about it. There's a quiz on the website that basically explains the details that allows you to test your knowledge and privacy. If you take that over time, you will learn the further details on how client-side scanning is done. But nonetheless, for the sake of simplicity, it's simply someone else being able to scan what's on your phone and knowing what it's about. Some people may loosely refer to it as hacking, whatever that means. In case you're not aware, OS usually stands for operating system. And there's a company called Graphene OS that contracts with other conglomerates that act as shareholders of Android system, who eventually do over-the-air updates into your phone. And some people who are tech savvy are realizing something is going on with the recent updates, and there's a possibility of client-side scanning. And they're saying, look, this new update has client-side scanning in it. So what they did was come on their social media site and said, look, it doesn't have client-side scanning, and it doesn't report to Google or anyone else. It provides on-device, meaning locally on yours. On-device machine learning. Let's stop. When you hear this word machine learning, it simply means some type of program gets acclimated to what you're doing. No different than when you type your password and the browser asks you, do you want it to remember what this password is? And you click yes. So that way you don't have to keep logging in every time you go on Facebook, every time you go on X, every time you go on Instagram. It stores some cache and cookies. Well, machine learning is sort of kind of similar to that, whereby every time you do something on your device, it learns your habit, it learns your pattern for good, not something you can delete, not something you can restore. And they're saying your pattern of using your own device, what you do on it, what your preferences are, how you do it, when you do it, which of course includes the microphone and camera on your device, even if you're not physically picking up, touching, actively engaging with the device. It's involved in your world, so long as it's around you and others using any type of technological luxury. That fridge, that printer, that laptop, other phones. And those who create the over-the-air software that causes that device you carry around every day called the phone to behave a certain way, or telling you, wait a minute, this thing that we've just updated over the air does not do client-side scanning, but it does do machine learning, usable by applications. Think of it, the notepad on your phone, for Androids, the Google Play Store, a browser app, Anything you click on that has an icon that you click that pops up, that's an application. So the update that they have does machine learning so that other applications, these are their words, usable by other applications to classify content as being spam, scams, or malware. So in the attempt to say, hey, we're not holding any of your information or selling it to data brokers, they're revealing the fact that they've put something on that thing you carry around that basically is used by other apps to do what? To classify spam, scam, and malware. As stated earlier, first, you are supplied with features you never asked for. Then you are told you have always wanted this. Your speech is being censored, limited, and controlled by the default unchangeable settings of new updates on your devices that are being released. When did you ask for someone to do machine learning so that they could know your preference to prevent spams, what they call scam, or what they call malware? So they put a form of malware in your device, allegedly to prevent other malwares. This is just another doublespeak to say we're going to control what you see, what you listen to. No different than when you are on some social media where you want to click on something and they tell you, hey, this is possibly something bad for you. Are you sure you want to look at it? They're not even asking you anymore. They're just doing it by default through the update on your device. You don't even see it at all. This is yet another doublespeak to say something is now inside your device based on over-the-air update that they've just done that will control what you see, what you hear, and likely even feed you things that will now manipulate and nudge you based on social conditioning as to how they want you to feel, as to how they want you to live life, all through the chips inside the phone that you carry around. Again, if it's not clear, there's a recent auto download to all Android phones beginning this year, 2025. They refer to that version as SafetyCore. See that word, safety? The same word used by local municipalities to subvert Fourth Amendment requirement. The gaslighting that, hey, it is for your alleged safety, for you to be stripped of your ability to make your own independent decision, or even minimally simply be left alone in pursuit of your happiness when minding your own business without bothering anyone. It is no more that if you leave others alone and go your way, that you will be simply also be left alone as a form of reciprocity. Oh no, the bully will come to you and disturb your peace. And it will be done in such a sophisticated way that the average man and woman, even the younger generation that grew up with technological luxury, will be clueless of what's going on. It used to be that the older generations are the ones you would usually point to and laugh at to say, they don't know much about technology. They don't get it. The younger generations fall for this also. They are as clueless. Ultimately, they then tell you your peace is being disturbed because you need disturbance of your peace. Gaslighting. Don't worry. This applies to iOS, Apple device users also, because we've just spoken about Android, but the equivalent version of this on iOS, Apple device users is called Media Analysis D, quote unquote. So what does it do really in terms of function? It scans all your images and sends them to Apple HQ server, then classifies it. Remember that post we just read where it says it classified as a scam, spam, or malware, etc. They will give you what you want to hear. No different than how we eventually figure out computer viruses were deliberately created so that computer virus companies can sell their CDs and products. Well, the same thing exists here. A problem deliberately created that doesn't exist, but you are told it's a problem that you need. Therefore, they come up with a solution just so they could strip you of your privacy one way or the other. So what exactly does SafetyCore and Media Analysis D do? It scans all your images and sends them to Apple HQ or Google headquarters server and then classifies it. The question here is, with iOS device users, you ought to ask is, wait, classifying my image on what I refer to as my phone? But why? Well, the same reason of safety, to prevent images of children allegedly from being taken by those Apple devices. They call these types of images CSAM. So they say now that, hey, the percentage of those doing creepy things is extremely low compared to the wider range of the users of the Apple's iPhone operating system. So for the safety, allegedly for the safety of someone, because an alleged threat of an extreme few, all of you must now have your privacy stripped from you. All of your photos, well, they're all stored in Apple's server, and you know what data brokers are doing with it. Well, you can figure that one out with anyone telling you what those who buy, sell, and further categorize data do in their line of work. In other words, as it has been iterated here many times, and even more so on the Patreon page, the chip attached to you is never going to be under your subcutaneous fat or inside your physical brain organ. They are the computer chips you carry around voluntarily in your pocket, your bags, your vehicles, daily, because someone have realized something very important. What they have realized is that humans are assimilated into the phones that they carry in 21st century and cannot do without them. Therefore, just place microcomputers inside of it that can basically take over-the-air updates of programs that monitor them. That post we just showed was posted in February 2025. There are now formally programs that are received over the air through updates in your device that you're carrying, that you're likely using to listen to this, that filters what you hear before you hear it, that filters what you experience on your device before you even have the experience on your phone automatically, before you even decide whether you want to see it or not. Just as it is done on your devices, it is done on your neighbor's device, your family members, your friend, even the people you don't like being around. Everyone gets it. Speech is being muted very methodically, very silently, in a sophisticated manner, using the same technological luxury that you carry around. Technological luxury is not equivalent to advancement. Luxury is not always beneficial. No different than the lady seeking the wealthy man just to realize his Johnny cannot service her engine well, and he is always emotionally absent. But hey, you have the luxury of the excellent mountain and river views, glass house and good vehicle. Oh, and also, he whoops her ass, and she can do nothing about it because he knows the sheriff, he knows the police, and he's probably one of the people who lobby Congress to make certain legislature. She definitely has that luxury though. But there was a price to pay. Her freedom. No different than a man seeking a 9 out of 10 stunning woman just to find she lacks basic communication skill. She expects you to be her serf and does not subscribe to the principles of equality, but would rather utter those words just for gratification, just because, a lot of people are bandwagoning uttering those same words and it feels good. Sex with her is like laying next to a log, and she continuously thinks you owe her something because she was damaged by her pops once upon a time. Hey you, the man, you have the luxury of having a beautiful woman next to you that the world will look at and think, wow, high quality man, because he has a beautiful looking woman. But your freedom, happiness, and peace of mind is the price for you to pay. But here is a balance. The balance is comprehending that, like a personal relationship, you do not seek the other based on the definition of actions that everyone receives and accepts as the norm. Rather, find that man. Just get into his stages of building wealth and build it with him, because only then will he value you more and remain with you until you get old. As a man, rather, find that woman whose hair is not always 100% perfect and has that awkward laugh with that rabbit tooth. The experience you will find is often 1,000 times better in said circumstances compared to the earlier examples. Do not settle for what appears to be the best based on what everyone else is merely doing. Most of them are also following what others have merely shown or told them. Use your own independent thought process. Free yourself by first thinking. Don't worry, Microsoft is also doing the same with CPU. Images of your screen are being taken every 5 to 10 seconds and is also being stored in HQ servers. They call this Windows recall, quote unquote. The supposed purpose and function of this is to allow you to recall what you are doing on the device, as though notes can't be taken or other macros cannot be performed by you voluntarily with so many apps and extensions, or even you simply recording your own screen at your own discretion. But hey, you needed it. You needed someone behind the operating system of your device to capture your screen image every 5 seconds through something called Windows recall. You needed it. So they did it for you. And in doing so, they have a right to what they have provided as a service, because now it's their intellectual property. Their technology was used to preserve your record of activities. Therefore, they sharecrop it, even if you never asked for them to do or perform such function for you in the first instance. The Windows Recall and Android SafetyCore both have an AI image processing operation that tracks and evaluates your tendencies and activities in real time. This kills the concept of privacy. See that end-to-end encryption thing people do with apps, telegrams, all that stuff, or other sensitive activities like banking passwords, crypto related or not, is as good as you announcing it to first parties and third parties each time you engage in those activities, or use these well-known popular devices that everyone carry around. AI that they're speaking of, AI is going to take over, AI this, AI that. It's not the way people are speaking about it. See, the interest rate of society, those interest rate, the Fed's interest rate that everything else tags along with, that will screw you up first before AI does. People will feel the oomph on that first before AI does. The AI that's taking over are the ones on your computer that you should be worried about, because AI is embedded into your devices. They are the ones that intercept speakers and are able to listen to content you also listen to. Now, ask yourself this. Do you think someone doing these are just doing it just to hold it and dispose of that information after a period of time? No, even though they have no right to obtain such information in the first instance. But do you assume these information of yours are being gathered and stored in a benign manner? Just storing and disposing of it without doing anything with such valuable data? Information is key, and this is the age of information. All the data is used to know you and do predictive activities, which subsequently affects what you are shown on your actual device itself. An issue of speech and association, but it is up to you to determine who you associate with based on the First Amendment. Solution? Go find you a DeWood phone and begin to read the Bill of Rights and comprehend the spirit behind it and the reason why those before you adopted those Bills of Rights centuries ago. See, human nature will never change no matter how far into the future. The tools and means of doing the same things for good or otherwise will simply be what changes and evolve. The lag between when people figure it out is the issue. The longer the lag, the harder it becomes to gain what is lost without adverse action. This lag between the time it takes to adopt a new method of stripping you, the everyday man and woman, of what is rightfully yours, and the time period it takes for you to snap into reality that it has occurred, is precisely what the one bullying you at large relies on: your lack of awareness of what is happening. Because all it takes for the human mind to find a solution is simply to first identify the problem, which gaslighting prevents. Gaslighting continuously tell you, oh no, the problem does not exist. In fact, you wanted it, so it cannot be the problem. So don't worry, just go back to sleep as I calmly rub the back of your head with one hand and knife in the other, okay? Realize what matters now. Take your own life into your own hands and stop allowing the okie-doke Kool-Aid to govern your life, your thoughts, and your impulses. Get a device that does not do client-side scanning. Get a device that does not do machine learning on you and send it to someone else, irregardless of what that someone else tries to tell you in order to rub the back of your head. Hey, I'm inviting you to come join the Patreon page. Not only do you get access to documents, posts, and videos that you will never find on any other platforms, you also get instant access to webinars that otherwise will cost far more. And we speak of things that usually we would not be able to speak of on any other platforms far more freely. On top of that, you get the opportunity to send me monthly questions along with everyone else's questions, so you can see other people going through similar circumstances. You never know, what you think might be a stupid question is quite often very valid. On top of that, you get access to monthly question and answer archives from several years back from people who have gone through it and people who are going through it. Get information regarding things you experience daily that you didn't even know you could take advantage of when it comes to business, work, or other personal things. There's a community of people where you can bounce information off of, and they can give you some tips and tricks based on what they're currently going through in their respective venues that you might maybe want to link up with. And there's a high likelihood you're not going to find them anywhere else. And you also get the access to directly send me messages. Oh, and also if you are a tier 4 member, you get access to yet another monthly meeting where we actually answer as much questions as we can, anywhere between an hour and a half, and in some cases up to 4 hours. In addition to that, we also show some exclusive lessons that are not going to be posted on Patreon or anywhere else but the tier 4 meeting alone. So come forth, come join the 500 plus people already on Patreon. And in some cases, we even give certain things out. And while you're at it, you might want to check out the store, subtlesubstanceservices.com. There might be a few things you want to pick up in there.